In this lesson, I'd like to show you how to embed a filter on a form and then use a button on the form that when clicked, it'll prompt you to enter parameters that you will pass into the filter that's embedded on the form. The first thing I'm going to want to do is create a new form. And I'm going to come up and use the form wizard just to save me a little bit of time. I'll click on the form wizard button up here under the create tab, and I will choose a table, products, to go ahead and include in the fields inside my form. So from here I'll just go ahead and click the double-headed arrow to bring in all the fields from the form. I'll click on next, columnar is fine, I'll click on next, and what title would you like your form? Products is fine as well. I'll just click on finish, and it goes ahead and builds a brand new form with all of the product information inside the form showing the first record. I have a total of 77 records out here, and I'm showing record number 1. And if I'd like, I could use my selector arrows here to just scroll through and see record per record. I also see that my product form has been saved out here. I've got the little form icon. So it's been saved, it's all set to go. I want to move to design view, so I'll right click up here on the title bar, choose design view. And in design view, I want to come out here and click once, or twice rather, out here where the two rulers intersect. And that'll make sure that if my property sheet isn't open, it'll open up my property sheet on the form. I can tell because it says selection type form. So if I go out here, I can click on the All tab, which will show me all the properties, but I just want to view the data properties. And if I look out here closely, I see there's a property called filter and another one called filter on load. And this is what you're going to see by default. This is going to be empty, and this is going to say no. We're going to start by just applying a simple filter here. I'll just type in some simple syntax. I'll say product name equals chai. So wherever this field, the product name field, is equal to CHAI, it will pull up those records. And it's just product name with the equal sign, and then in double quotes I put in the word chai. And currently it says filter on load, which says no. I'm going to say yes for the time being. That means that every time the form is open, it'll automatically run this filter. So let's go ahead and let's save our changes. And now when I run the products form, it opens up and I see that I'm on record 1 of 1 where it equals chai. Now let's see if we can make this a little more flexible. By the way, if you ever want to turn your filter off, you can just come down here at the bottom where it says filtered, click that, it will unfilter it and you'll see all 77 records. I'd like to add a button down here so that when the form opens up I see all 77 records, but when I click the button it will apply the form filter that I just set up a moment ago. Back in design view, right click, choose design view. And I'm just going to set my property sheet aside for a moment. And I'm going to come out here to my design tab up here at the top. And I'm going to choose a command button right here. I'm going to click once. And I'll come down and click. And it automatically starts the wizard. And I'm able to make a choice on what I want this button to do. We see under record navigation I have a whole set of settings here, a whole set of actions. Under record operations I could add a record, delete a record, print a record, but under form operations there's one called apply form filter. And all that's going to do is just apply any filter that's embedded in the form, like the one we just created. So I'll set that, I'll click on next. It says apply filter, I'll use the text instead of the picture. I'll click on next. Command 23, the name of the button, we're not worried about naming it right now. I'll just click on finish and now I have the apply filter out here. So let's go back in to the property sheet for my form. So I have my property sheet open. I'm going to click on this button here where the two rulers intersect, and where it says filter on load I'm going to double click that and say no, and that way it won't filter. I'll go ahead and close this. I'll save changes, and now when I open this up I will see all 77 records, but the apply filter is here, and when I click on apply filter, then it applies the filter. And I see only chai out here. Again, I could turn the filter off to show all 77 records, but this thing is hard-coded to only show chai. So even though I'm able to roll through here, anytime I apply the filter, it's going to go back and just show me chai. Let's add some more flexibility. I'm going to change the syntax of my filter so that when I click on apply filter, it will ask me what product name I want. And I can even use wildcards out there if I'd like. But let's just start slowly on this. I'm going to move back to my design view. So I'll right click and choose design view. And I'll make sure I click here and I'm on my form type. Where it says product name chai, what I'm going to do is change that up a little bit. And I'll change this where it says product name equals, and then in square brackets on surrounding this on each side. I'm going to say enter product name. Now, Access doesn't know what this is, so it's going to ask me what this is, and let's see what the end user will get when we save the changes here and I open this up and I click on the apply filter. It comes back and says enter the product name. Well, here I could go ahead and just say chai, or I could say some other product, like instead of chai I could say Chang, and if I click OK, then it just pulls up Chang or any list, any product name inside of my whole table that has the name Chang. It'll go ahead and pull that up. Again, I'll go ahead and show all of my records. I'd like to make this even more flexible, where I could go ahead and just type in, say, the first couple of letters of the product that I'm interested in, and it will go ahead and pull all those products instead of just one. Back in my design view, I'll go back out to my filter and make another change here. And what I'm going to want to do is take out the equal sign. So I'll just put my pointer right on the equal sign and backspace that. I'm going to put in the word like. And then at the other end of this, I'm going to go ahead and use an ampersand, and in quotes, I'm going to put in an asterisk. So I'm going to say ampersand and then include the asterisk character. And essentially what this is going to do is just say, whatever text you type in, we don't care what comes after the text. We'll match whatever characters you type in here. So I'll go ahead and close this, save the changes. And when I open this back up, now when I click on this, I could go ahead and just type in the letter C, and I'll click OK, and I won't get one, but I'll get 9 records. And if I click on these, I get Chai, Chang, Chef Anton's, Carnivore and Tigers, Chartreuse, Chocolade. Now if I come back and click on Apply Filter again, all it does is reapply the filter that I set up before. It doesn't prompt me again, and I want to change that so that every time I click on Apply Filter, it'll come back and prompt me one more time. So let's make another change. Back in Design View, I'll right-click, choose Design View. And this time what I want to do is I want to come out here and I want to take a look at the properties for the button. So if I click on the button and then click up here, I can see that I'm looking at the property sheet for the button. And if I click on the Event tab, I can see out here that I have an embedded macro. This is what was created when I created the button, and it asks me if I wanted to filter. Well, let's take a look at the macro that it created. If I click on the 3-dotted button, you can see what it's doing is it's just applying the filter sort. So whenever you click the button, it just goes out to the property sheet of the form where we set up our filter, and it runs that filter automatically. Well, to make this happen again, to actually prompt me again, I have to add another little piece of code to this. I want to requery or refresh the form before I apply the filter sort. So I'm going to come out here and add a second command. I'm going to scroll down here and choose this one called requery. When I click on that and leave the control name off, it will requery a particular control on my form, but if I leave it off, it'll go ahead and do the current object, which is going to be the form. Now I want this to take place before I apply the filter sort. So I'm going to click the green button here to pop this up on top. So it's going to requery, and then it's going to run the filter sort. So I'll go ahead and just close this, save the changes. I'll go ahead and close my form, save the changes, and now when I run this, it'll come back and ask me to apply the filter. I will go ahead and type in, say, the letter A. I will click OK, and it shows me just 2 products that begin with the letter A. I'll click on the Apply filter and it brings it up again. I'll type in, say, CH, click OK, and it only shows me records that begin with the letters CH. Let's make this ultimately flexible. What I'd like to do is when I click on the Apply filter and the box comes up asking me for the product name or the characters in the product name, I want to be able to type any character or any string of characters at all, and if they occur anywhere in the product name at the beginning, the end, or anywhere in the middle, it will pull up that record. So how do we do this? Let's go back in our design view. I'm going to right click and choose design view. Out here on the property sheet for the form, I'm going to come out here and click on the data button. It says form up here at the top. I'm going to change this up just a little bit more. And all I'm going to do is, just like on the end here, I'm going to reverse this. And I'm going to say quote, asterisk, quote, ampersand. And what that's going to do is it's going to take an asterisk and glue that to whatever I type in, and then glue that to another asterisk, which says we don't care what comes at the beginning, we don't care if it's at the end or anywhere in the middle, just look for these characters I type in, and anywhere they occur in the product name, pull that product and display it. So from here I'll go ahead and just save everything. And when I run this again, I could come out and apply the filter, and I could say something like sauce. And when I click OK, it only pulls the records where the word sauce shows up. Maybe I'll apply the filter again. We'll try something else. And I'll type in berry, and I'll click OK, and I get two records, one for boysenberry spread and cranberry sauce. Let's apply the filter again. This time I'll type in, say, lager. And if I click OK, I get Laughing Lumberjack Lager, and I get Outback Lager as well. So this is ultimately very flexible, and this is not the only way to do this, but it is really quick and simple. You could always apply a query to the back of the form, and that adds a lot more flexibility. But this is just real quick and dirty if you just want to be able to create a quick form and apply a filter.